Good morning, my dear students. Today we'll start with yesterday we have studied about the some of the various types of bridges, isn't it? Okay, what are those? Beam bridge, truss, arch bridge, suspension, cantilever, and cable stay. So, and also we have studied yesterday about the history of the bridges, how the bridges has been came to exist, isn't it? So now we'll study the components of the bridge. Okay, what are the components of the bridges are there? The main parts of the bridge structures are decking, bearing, abutments and piers, foundation for abutments and the piers, and river trainer works like revetments, approaches slabs to the bridges, and handrails, parapets, and the cordstones. Okay, these are the main components of the bridges. So we'll go one by one here. This is your bridge, the cross section elevation of your bridge here. So this one is your abutment, and this is your pier. The difference between the abutment and the pier is the pier is having the spans. It is the spans are going to be rest on two different spans are going to rest on that pier, and it is in between the it is in between the bridge. Okay, but whereas abutment is at the adjacent of the bridge. Okay, only one span is going to be rest on the abutment, and abutment is supported by again the wing wall and the lateral earth pressure behind that one. Okay, but the main component of this is to transfer the load from the superstructure, that is from the deck slab to the foundation. Okay, next below that abutment there is a foundation. Okay, see, for the piers also and also for the abutments. Okay, now bed level means it is the below the level of ground below the bridges, it is under the water. Okay, bed level. And bearings, what it is shown, bearings above the pier and abutment we are going to provide with the bearing. Upon that bearing the girders are going to be rest. Why the bearings are provided means because these bridges may be under the lateral loads also. Okay, due to the movement of the pedestrians or due to movement of the vehicles, the lateral loads are going to be applied on that bridges, on that deck slab, then to the girder, isn't it? That has been resisted by these bearings. Okay, the bearing is little bit flexible, and it is flexible. The whatever the vibrations are going to be generated, that vibrations are been absorbed by this bearing. So it is placed above the piers or abutment. Okay, clear? Bearing, the function of the bearing is the whatever the when in case of earthquake loads also, in quick earthquake loads also, there will be these are lateral loads. Okay, earthquake loads and whatever the loads due to the movement of the vehicles, this will be in the form of lateral loads, correct? So these loads has been absorbed by this bearing, and this bearing is a little bit flexible. This absorbs the lateral loads. Okay, now above that there is a longitudinal girder and also the cross girders. Okay, longitudinal girder is along the length of the beam. Cross girders is in the cross perpendicular to the line of the bridges. Okay, cross girders, longitudinal girders. Above that there is a deck slab. Above that there is a deck slab. Upon that again we are having the handrails, parapet, and a curb. Okay, curve you have studied in your transportation engineering, why the curve has been providing. Okay, the whatever the load is coming from the deck slab, that load has been transported to these girders, longitudinal girders as well as the cross girders. With these girders, the load has been transferred again to the piers and the abutments. Again from the pier and abutment, the load has been transferred to the foundation, then to the subsoil. Clear? Here one more thing is approach slab. Whatever here your road level is there, and this is your approach slab. Means uh, means the vehicles to enter into the bridge, there will be a slab that is called as approach slab. Back wall and wing wall. Why we are providing wing wall? The wing wall is to divert the water. Okay, so whenever there is a water will be there, to divert that water we are going to provide the wing walls, and also to support the earth soil. Beside this abutment, it has been compacted with the earth. Okay, it will create a lateral pressures. That pressure has been resisted by these wing walls. Then there are parapet handrails, and we are going to provide with the expansion joint. See here, expansion joint. The function of this expansion joint is due to this lateral pressures and due to change in temperature, there will be what we know, that shrinking and swelling. Okay, expansion, the concrete is going to expand after several years. So for that purpose we are going to provide the expansion joints in the bridges. Okay, clear this, the components of the bridges. Now we'll study the classification of bridges broadly here according to how it has been classified. Bridges may be classified in many ways as below. According to the function as aqueduct, viaduct, pedestrian, highways, railways road rail, or a pipeline bridges. These aqueducts are provided whenever there is a canal over a river. Whenever there is a canal over a river, in such cases the aqueducts are going to be provided. Aqueduct means it is to carry the water. It is acts as a canal. It is in a U shape. It is to carry the water, okay, over the river. Okay, in some for example, some river is flowing. Above that, the canal is going to be placed. Okay, the canal alignment has been came. For that, the movement of that canal, we are going to provide the aqueducts. And the viaduct is the road or a railway over a valley. There is a valley. Above that, the railway roads are there, or a valley railways. This will be there. In such cases, we are going to provide the viaduct. This is classification is based on the function. Okay, function is for the movement of the water for the canal, and also for the movement of the vehicles, that is road or rail, above the river or a valley. Now the classification according to the materials of the construction of superstructure as timber, masonry, iron, steel, reinforced concrete, pre-stressed concrete, composite or aluminum bridges. Now the classification is based on the materials which are being used for the construction of the superstructure. So which are those? Earlier it was the timber, and then it was masonry, iron, steel, reinforced concrete, pre-stressed concrete. Okay, these are the classification based on the materials. Now according to the form or type of the superstructure, as slab beam, truss, arch, cable stayed, suspension bridges, this we have studied. This form we have studied in the earlier. What are the different forms of our bridges we have studied. In that we have studied beam type bridge, truss type, arch type, cable stayed, suspension bridges. This we have studied. According to the interspan relation as a simple, continuous and cantilever. Interspan relation between the span of the whatever the span we having, this span based on the how the span of the slab, it is simple and continuous and cantilever bridges. And according to the position of the bridge floor related to the superstructure as a deck, throw, half throw and suspended bridges. This is classification based on the position of the bridge floor. Okay. Next is according to the method of connection of different parts of the superstructure, particularly for a steel construction. According to the degree of redundancy as a determinant or indeterminate bridge. Now this classification is based on the degree of redundancy. You have studied in the SA1, okay, degree of redundancy and indeterminacy. Based on that, it is determinate and indeterminate bridges. And one more classification is classification of bridge based on the span, based on the materials, based on structure, based on the function and utility. Based on the span, it is culvert bridge if the span is up to 6 meter. If your span of the bridge is 6 up to 6 meter, we can call it as culvert bridge. And if your span is between 6 meter to 30 meter, this you can call it as minor bridge. If your span is 30 meter to 150 meter, you can call it as a major bridge. If your span is more than 150 meter, you can call it as a long span bridges. We'll study this with the figures, okay, with a video. I will show you all those different classification of the bridges in the next slides only. Materials. Based on the material is timber, masonry, steel, RCC bridge and pre-stressed concrete bridge. This also we have studied. And based on the structure, it is arch, highway bridge, railway bridge, aqueduct, road cum railway bridge. Based on the utility, temporary bridge and the permanent bridge. Okay, now we'll move to the figures of those. Okay. Okay, so we have seen that the components of the bridges. Here we have seen substructure, superstructure and adjoining structure, right? Here it is deck slab, bearing, pier and abutment and the foundation. Okay, substructure means below the soil, that is substructure. Superstructure is above the water level, okay, that is superstructure. These are the components of the bridges, such as pier, bearing, deck slab, foundation and abutment. These are the main components of the bridges. Okay. The components of bridges in the substructure, that is abutment, piers, wing walls, foundation for abutment and piers. That is, the one is the foundation, wing walls, piers and abutment. This comes under substructure. Okay, you can see here they have classified. Above is superstructure, below the deck slab it is substructure, above the deck slab it is superstructure. Again here main girder, beam, main girder, or it is what we call it is longitudinal girder and cross girders. Okay, and bearings, expansion joints, parapet and abutment piers. Okay. Components of bridges adjoining structure is approaches, river training works like guide band, aprons, etc. and guide stones. Now we'll study the classification of the bridges here. Based on the we have studied in previous slide, that is based on the materials used, based on the alignment, based on the location of the bridge floor, based on the function or a purpose, type of superstructure, different classification is there here. This is broad classification. What we call it is, this is timber bridge. This is based on the material where it is timber bridge. It is made with the timber planks. Okay, there is no piers here. Only it is beam type, means with trusses. And this one is masonry bridge. It is completely made with the stone masonry. You can see here it is about there is a road, and it is for the flow movement of the water or a valley. Next is RCC bridge. It is of, okay, you can see the masonry bridge also smaller, and timber bridge also smaller. We can see the RCC bridge. Because of this strength, quality of the RCC, you can do a long span bridge also with the help of masonry. This is steel bridge. It is completely made with the steel, with a truss type of components. This is pre-stressed cement concrete bridge. This is pre-stressed concrete materials. You can, these may be girders or a slab decks. This has been directly put on the site. Okay. Next is composite bridge. Now, as per the alignment, it is stone arch bridge, stone type, and shape is in the earth, so it is stone arch bridge. Skew bridge. The shape is in the skew. The alignment is in the form of skew, so it is called a skew bridge. This is deck bridge. Throw bridge. It is completely made with the steel here, I think. Truss type of members are the semi-through bridge, now this is based on the function and purpose. Aqueduct, okay, as I told, aqueduct is to, whenever there is a valley above that, to pass the water in the canal, we are going to provide the aqueduct. It is in the shape of U type. The function of the aqueduct is to, for the movement of the for the flow of the water in the canal. Viaduct, below there is a viaduct is for the movement of the vehicles or the pedestrians, for the rails or roads. Okay. This is viaduct. Again, you can call it this one as also a suspension bridge also, because based on the function, it is how the function of this bridge, so it is called as viaduct. This is grade separator. It is like your, in, you can see this is in your metro cities, the bridge for the metros. Okay, there is two levels. The one level is for the roads and one is for the rails. This is a grade separator, call it as. It is, I think it is metro only, metro bridge itself, metro railroad. Highway bridge, railway bridge for the movement of rail above the valley. Okay, completely made with the steel structure here. Footbridge, for the movement of the pedestrians from one end to another end above the rails, above the railroad. Okay, without any disturbing to the railroad, there is a footbridge has been provided. Pipe bridge, that is yesterday also we have discussed about this pipe bridge here. That is for the movement of the liquid materials, that is oil or anything you can consider. Based on the superstructure, slab bridge, girder bridge, truss bridge, suspension bridge. This we studied. Okay, arch bridge, now this one is very important here. This is simply supported cantilever and continuous hinge cantilever. You can see simply supported, just rest on that. Between the two pillars, the slab is simply supported, whereas in the cantilever bridges, the portion is the cantilever towards one to another one to another deck slabs. Sorry, cantilevers continuous means between two pillars, this is continuous. Classification according to the span. Culverts. There is sides, there are wing walls. This is usually called as box culvert. Okay, this is up to 8 meter. 8 to wow, it is in our subject, it is up to 6 meters. 6 to 30 it is minor bridge, up to next 30 to 120 it is 150 it is major bridge, above 150 it is long span bridge. Here it is number 120 but it is 150. Swing bridge. Yeah, this bridge is having functioning for the both, for the movement of the vehicles also as well as for the movement of the boats also. So again there will be so many classifications are there, so but we'll stick to our syllabus. Okay, so these are what broad classification of the bridges what we studied. Now the selection of the bridge site, how the site should be for a bridge. Okay, the choice of right site is crucial decision in the planning and designing of the bridge. It may not be possible always to have a wide choices of site for a bridge. This is means I can give an example here. You can whenever you want to construct a house, you can have the choices. You can choose a site which location is suitable for construction of my house, or which location is suitable for construction of industry. You can check it, but in case of bridges you can't select it, because it is majorly the bridges has been constructed based on our requirement and the function of that bridges. Okay, based on our requirement. Okay, so you can see in the highway, you can see in the highway under wherever the underpass is required, then we are going to provide the underpass there bridges. Okay, we are not selecting the where exactly the site how the exactly the site should be. Okay, we are not checking that one. The based on our requirement we are going to provide the bridges. So that was one first point here, and this is particularly so in case of bridges in urban and flyovers. For river bridges in rural areas, usually a wider choice may be available. And it is telling that, and they are telling that bridges in urban and flyovers for river bridges in rural areas, in there you are having the choices. Okay, now we'll discuss here the characteristics of an ideal site for the bridge. Now bridges, why we are constructing the bridges, it is for our purpose of intended to use it. Okay, the purpose of use, right? So if that bridge serves our purpose, that means whatever we have built is good. Okay, now there are some of the characteristics of an ideal site for a bridge. The straight reach of the river, how the river should be, it is straight reach. Steady river flow without serious walls and cross currents. Okay, and a narrow channel with a firm banks, means straight reach of the river. Why it is straight? If it is straight, we can give exactly the whenever we are going to construct a bridge, it should be perpendicular to the flow of the water, so that we can divert the water by providing the pillar below. Okay, steady river flow without serious whirls and cross section. If any whirls and cross currents will be there, then there will be a lots of the lateral forces or the water waves which are going to hit our abutment or piers. So for that the river should be steady flow, and narrow channel with firm banks. Banks must be perfect. Okay, suitable high banks above high flood level on each other. Rock or a hard inerodable strata close to the riverbed level, means adjacent to the banks of the river, it should be hard strata, hard and inerodible. Proximity to direct alignment of the road to be connected, absence of sharp curves in approaches, and absence of expensive river training works. So these are the characteristics of an ideal bridge. To check the site of the bridge, these are some of the characteristics which we should consider it and for the selection of the site for the bridges. Okay guys, I hope you all clear with the classification and the site selection for the bridges here. This is a little bit part of your syllabus. Okay, so I will discuss now the syllabus also in one of my video. Okay, this is not much important, just we should know whenever we are designing for the bridges, means we should at least know what is the classification, different types of bridges are there, what is the function of the bridge and the purpose of the bridge. These things we should know. So this is about the basic things of these bridges here. Okay, clear? Okay, watch the video. If you are having any doubts, feel free to ask me at any time your queries. Thank you.